people. Here we go. Some news headlines. Let's go. Hey, gun people. All right, little update on this Rittenhouse trial. So the judge allowed them to take the jury instructions home. And I don't know if that's good or bad, but I noticed the defense objected afterwards. Let's take a look at what happened there.
Can you take the jury instructions home?
I want to go back here. Watch.
Can you take the jury instructions
Watch the defense.
home?
So this is a tough thing for the judge to do because they don't want to stand up and object because it makes them think it can turn the jury against them. It makes them think they're going against the jury. It makes the person that asked feel like the defense doesn't like him. And why wouldn't he let me take it home? And he must have something to hide. So if I'm on the fence, I'm going to vote against him. Very, very difficult on how you act in front of the jury because they can hold it against your client and he pays. So he didn't really say no, but his nonverbals was clear. And I even think she shook her head out of the corner of my eye. She did. So take a look at her. Take a look at him. So here's the problem with taking jury instructions home. I've never heard anybody ask that or take it home. One, they get lost, and now we need to get them another copy. One, the dog ate my homework. Two, they make a copy of it, and they've put notes or something from other jurors, and they have things written down and personal things, and then they lose it. I mean, normally, when you're jury deliberation, everything stays in the jury room. That way you avoid leaks, lost things, inappropriate things, etc. So the judge ignored this no, and he saw it, and he said yes.
Yes.
So he says yes, even though he saw him the defense shake his head, and he knows the defense can't stand up and go, objection, Your Honor, I don't think she should be allowed, this is why, but then the jury gets pissed at him. That's why they do things out of the way of the jury, so the jury doesn't start penalizing a client because they like or don't like somebody.
Yes, but
you can tell his whole body behavior is... Now, the two weasels are good at lying and deceiving. I don't think they think it's a good idea either, but they're much better at appearing neutral and faking the jury. And these guys are a little bit more reactive.
you obviously can't talk to anybody about them. Yeah, yes, you may do so. And any question? Okay, same rules. Don't read, watch, or listen to any account of the trial, and don't discuss the case with anybody. And we'll see you tomorrow. Enjoy the evening.
Okay, so now they talk about it afterwards.
Library.
The records clerk sent you
Afternoon, the most patient people in America. We're going to break for the day, and I'm going to ask you to return.
Now, I'm not sure what happened here. I thought they had already left, and now they're back in here. That's the problem with this live is we end up missing a lot of things, and I get kind of lost a little bit. Maybe nobody else is, but I'm just like, what the hell just happened? You just released them, they all left, and now they're back?
Turn tomorrow at 9. Is that going to be okay? And I know we're over our time that I talked about initially.
When he's saying we're over our time, a lot of times judges will tell the jury, look, this is probably going to be 2 weeks of testimony or a week of testimony, and then deliberations will start, and I'm thinking, 3 or 4 days, we'll have a verdict, you guys will come to a decision or something. He may say something like that to give them a time so they can start scheduling and planning. But you know what? He says we're over our time already.
You're magnificent jurors. Please adhere to the same rules. Don't read, watch, or listen to any account of the trial. and even with your fellow jurors. Any question? Okay, thank you. He's got a book there that says the pack defense, so I know what his reading matters.
I tried to hear that book several times. I thought he said the pack defense, and I know what his reading habits are. I can't find that book. If somebody knows what book he's talking about on what he's reading, because if I Google pack defense, I get basketball plays or things like that. So I don't know if that's a playbook that he's reading or whatever, but again, I cannot understand what he says when he says that.
Defense. He's got a book there that says the pack defense, so I know what his reading matters. But now the record will reflect that it's probably a bad habit to ask the jury any questions.
There's an old saying, if you can't handle the answer, don't ask the question. And I don't think it's a bad thing for him to answer. So what? You deal with it. I don't have a problem with him asking. As a matter of fact, I used to like judges that would allow jurors to ask questions of witnesses. I mean, again, I talked about that. Some cops didn't like it. I liked it. You never knew what you were going to get, but you understood what the jury was thinking. And the judge, before he released a witness, he'd turn to the jury and say, do any of you on the juror have any questions for this jury? He goes, you can't ask the witness, but you can ask me, and then I will determine if it's appropriate, and then I will ask the witness. So does anybody on the jury have any questions? I love that. I think that ought to be standard procedure, because the jury's always like, where are you going with that? They always have this confused face after the legal mumbo jumbo crap, and they never get to the root of it. The problem with that is sometimes they'll ask something that's been excluded, and the judge will say, we've already talked about that, and I'm sorry, but we can't answer that one per the court's ruling. Is there any other questions? And they would just deal with it. But I still think jurors ought to have the right to ask questions.
You can do that. You can get away with that a lot, and then all of a sudden you learn your lesson. Although I don't think there's any harm done. But I typically do that, as you know, throughout the trial, and I don't usually have this situation. But anyway, and then I did it a second time. But anyway, the record will reflect that when I asked, when the juror inquired if she could take the instructions home, which also means can they take the instructions home, I didn't see reaction from the state side. I did see a wag of the head by Mr. Richards urging me to say no, but I did it anyway. So, did you want to make a record on it?
I'm afraid it's going to be the old dictionary game, and they start defining words and things like that, the outside research.
Well, now see, I don't know if that's a very good reason. So what if they look it up, whatever? I mean, do they not do that? Do you not think 12 people in there aren't playing the dictionary game between the 12 of them? What do they mean by must? And what do they mean by preponderance? And what do they mean? Does anybody know what this means? They're playing the dictionary game in there, and they're getting opinions from only the 12 people in there. Why shouldn't they have a source? I mean, I don't know if that's a good reason, but that's his reason.
Search.
Yeah.
That's my concern.
Well, actually, no, because they could do that at home without having the paperwork, and instead they have the wonderful, concise jury instructions.
So now the judge is justifying his ruling.
I have to say, I don't know about you guys, but I watch a little TV in the morning and in the evening, and some of the greatest legal minds in the country, I'm delighted to say, agree with us that the instructions are very confusing.
Amazing. Government, all the people in charge know it's bullshit, know they're confusing, know they're ineffective, and know that people are probably getting convicted or set free because it's confusing. And what do? They do the same thing every time. Just amazing.
But,
Jury instructions are not new. They were confusing way long ago. 20, 30, 40 years ago, jury instructions have been confusing. This ain't like it just popped up in the last year.
Yeah.
I don't think it would be appropriate for them to bring their notes home.
No, you're right about that. No notes to go home. That's correct. So no notes to go home, but they may take their instructions.
Now, I'm kind of confused on why their jury instruction but their notes. Maybe for the same reason I said. If they're lost or if they're discussing their notes with someone else, I don't know. Again, they didn't explain it. That's why I kind of like this judge. He kind of gives his thought process on why he believes what he believes.
If they have notes on their instructions, I'm going to let them take those.
Okay, so there's a tip for all you future jurors. If you're allowed to take your jury instructions home, but you're not allowed to take your notes home, make all your notes on the jury instructions. Perfect. We get that cleared up? There's one other thing I wanted to clear up because I'm hearing this on my post a lot. As most of you know, I'm not a fan of Mr. Binger, the crooked DA. I think he's an unethical piece of shit, horrible individual, playing with people's lives with his power. I make no bones about that. However, everybody's posting, I heard he was gay, and he's married to one of the gay judges, and that's BS, and he shouldn't be. And I didn't hear that, so I researched a little bit, and I found an article that it says he ran for the DA. He says he's won 13 jury trials. Doesn't say how many he's lost. He says he's convicted, child molester, whatever. And then it says he graduated from University of Michigan in 96, joined in 99. After rising to this turn, Binger moved to director, blah, blah, blah. Then it goes down here and it says Binger and George Schroeder. Oh, shit. Where was it that he said he's married? Crap. There it is. Shoot, I couldn't find it. Binger is married to a mental health counselor. Probably a good woman to marry because he seems to have mental health issues. And the couple has 3 children. So people keep posting because rumors start. People believe it. People don't do their own research. I don't like the guy. I don't care what he is, but a lot of people are saying he's gay and he's dating another gay judge. And but that's rumor. I don't like rumor. I'd rather facts. According to Fox News in this article, he's married and they have 3 children. Okay, so again, I'm not defending the guy. I don't like him, but the truth is the truth. All right, we'll end that there. And we're waiting. You know, look, they said that this is the 4th day of jury deliberation, and people go, man, 4 days, that's a long time. When you think about it, by the time the jury gets in, they're only there for 8 hours a day. So they've been deliberating for 24 hours. Out of those 24 hours, how much has been in the morning having coffee? How was your night? Okay, y'all ready to get started? Okay, let's go to lunch. Okay, we're back from lunch. Everybody have a good lunch. I mean, how much, how many hours have they actually sat down and tried to figure this out? I'm thinking it's in the area of maybe 18 hours, maybe 20 hours out of this 24-hour period. So is that really a long time? I mean, it's longer than I would like because I think they should have been, this is self-defense, this is a bullshit case, we're voting not guilty. They should have been done in 5 or 10 minutes, in my mind. But I'm not in there and I don't know what's going on. I'm not having to work with 11 other idiots that can't figure this shit out. Rick, you can't call them idiots because shut up, you big crybabies. All right, we'll end it there.